Good morning. My name is Dr. Manju Prasad. I've been at Wellington Point High School for 3 years now. This is my third year and I'm the head of science. I also teach chemistry and biology, and today I'll take you through Year 10 subject selection. Thank you. In 2021, we're looking at subject selection, and for science, there's two pathways you can take. You can take the ATA pathway or the non-ATA pathway. The non-ATA pathway was introduced this year to allow for those students interested in science, but they don't want to do the general subjects. So we've got that applied option. So we've got aquatic practices in there. For the ATA pathway, we've got our general subjects, 3, biology, chemistry, and physics. Now we'll talk about different subjects. Biology provides opportunities for students to engage with the living systems. And when we're engaging with the living systems, we talk about these are the 4 main topics that we go through about cells and multicellular organisms, about the internal environment and maintaining that, biodiversity in the interconnectedness of life, and heredity and genetics, which is genetics, sorry. So the last one is genetics. Sorry. Now, when you study biology, these can lead to careers such as, if you're thinking about medicine, forensics, vet science, food and marine science, biotechnology, biosecurity, you can see a whole list there. So these are the areas where biology can be useful in your future. Moving on to chemistry. Chemistry is the study of materials and their properties and structures. And there's also 4 topics that we do in chemistry in senior. The 4 topics that we do is firstly chemical fundamentals, where we study the structure, property and reactions. We look at different molecular interactions and reactions. We look at topics in equilibrium, acids and bases, and redox reaction. And lastly, but not the least, the structure, density, synthesis, and design of different materials. Those are the 4 topics over grade 11 and 12. Careers in science. If you're thinking about forensic science, environmental science, engineering, medicine, pharmacy, sports science might be a lot of interest to a lot of people out there. Studying chemistry might be useful to you. Physics provides opportunities for students to engage with classical and modern understanding of the universe. So it's all about the universe and the classical and current understanding of the universe. In studying physics, once again, there's 4 units we go through: thermal and nuclear electrical physics, linear motion and waves, gravity and electromagnetism, and revolutions in modern physics. Once again, this is over 2 years. So the first 2 topics in grade 11 and then the last 2 topics in grade 12. Careers in physics, things like engineering, medicine, technology, space exploration, aviation. So very trending areas that studying physics can lead to. So a very challenging subject, but leading to really good careers out there. Now, when we think about these ATA courses, these ATA courses are really demanding, and I would urge you to think really carefully about your subject selection. Why I say that is because of the different types of assessment we have in senior. So if you're looking at your ATA course, there's a data test which accounts for 10% of your mark, student experiment that accounts for 20%, research investigation accounting for another 20%, and then at the end of the year we have an exam that brings in 50% of your mark. So as you can see here, that 50% of your mark comes from internal assessment, and then the last one is an external exam that is in grade 12. That's not even written at school. It's written by QCAA, and they administer and mark that item. So a lot of the assessment is dependent on how well you perform in these subjects and how much effort you're putting into this. When we're looking at, I know it's a bit tiny, but when you look at the data test, that's it's a 60-minute exam and there's a 10-minute perusal time. And when we do the data test, we look at analyzing quantitative and qualitative data. So when we look around here, I can't see that here. And it's you need to be really good in maths to do this as well. So I would urge you, if you're doing your subject selection, you think about your maths ability, because the data test is common to chemistry, biology, and physics. All 3 sciences have the same assessment, and if you're choosing more than one science, say 2, you would be doing the data test at the same time, and it's very demanding. I would not probably recommend that you choose all 3 sciences, ATA subjects, because the demand is just, the workload is just massive. So really think about your career and what subjects you really need. When we think about the student experiment, once again, the dot points are a bit hard to read, but you can look this up in the syllabus document. And there's a huge demand on the cognitions. And this is accounting for 20% of your assessment time. We've done this in grade 10 and 9 as well, so it's some things you're familiar with. Basically, we do experiments in class, and then you modify the experiment, you conduct the experiment, then you write your report based on that, and that makes up your student experiment. We give you 10 hours in class time, but a lot of time is actually used at home. So once again, huge workload there, and once again, I urge you to think carefully about which subjects you're choosing, because as I keep saying, the workload is massive, and you really need to think carefully about what you really need for your future. The next 20% comes from a research investigation. Once again, the dot points indicate to you the level of cognition required for this and the demands on your workload as well, once again. So this one is here, when we look at a claim, you come up with a research question, and then in this one you do not do investigations or experiments in class. You need to research and find secondary data from other sources. Now once again, this type of assessment you've done in junior school and in grade 10 as well. So we have backward mapped everything. So it's a task that's familiar to you, but it's relying on your ability to do research and write up a report. So 20% of your mark coming from that. So between the three types of assessment, that makes up 50% of your overall mark. Now let's move on to the non-ATAR courses. This was only introduced this year, and it's going really well. We nearly got about 20 at this stage students enrolled in this course, so we're running for the first time, as I said, in this year. Grade 11, it's about marine safety, marine biology, aquaponics, aquarium and water quality, and recreation in the environment. When you go to grade 12, it's about fishing, seafood prep, ecotourism, reef conservation, boating and navigation. So if you're interested in science, but you don't want to do the ATAR subjects, you don't want to do the general subject, this is an applied subject that you can still do. So if you want to maintain your interest in science and you think science is going to help in your future career, I think this is a good option. People who want to do education in future, they do require science. So I would urge you to talk to the guidance officer if you are considering doing this and where it's relevant. So a very interesting course that we've introduced this year, and obviously up for taking next year. With this course, so for the aquatic courses, I need to mention there's a subject levy for this one. It's $150 per year, and the reason for that is we need to buy some materials, things like seafood preparation. When we're making the aquaponics and aquarium, we need to buy materials. And some of these things go back with you, like the fishing rods and the seafood and all that goes back to you. So that's the reason, and we do take you out to the foreshore, to the beach area as well, so all that cost is factored into that. So if you're thinking about this course, just realize there is a subject levy for this. The assessment in aquatic practices, we have three types of assessment. One being the performance. There's a little bit of written in that. There's a bit of multimodal presentation. And there might be a performance component where you demonstrate your skills and things. There's a project as well, so written or multimodal once again. And there is exams as well. So a combination of these three different types over grade 11 and 12. When we think about your general and applied subjects, like when you're talking about the internal assessment, which I've just talked about, for the general, that makes up 50% of your mark, and then 50% comes from the final exam. You get 4 QCE credit points for that, and it does contribute to your ATAR. When you think about your aquatic, in the third row there, that's an applied subject. The assessment, in summary, is a project, performance, or exam. And once again, the QCE credits you get is 4. It doesn't contribute to your ATAR, but you do get your QCE points. So it's not a bad option, and it's a good way to keep your interest up in science. So I'd like to finish up there and ask you to think really carefully about your subjects, because it is a massive workload, as I keep saying, and once you're committed, it's really hard to change out. So I would urge you to think carefully, and you need to have at least a B or above in grade 10 science in order to enroll in these courses, the general subjects. You also need to have at least a B in maths to enroll in this, and the reason for that is because of the rigor we require in these subjects there. So thank you for listening. This will be followed by some teacher talks and student talks promoting the subjects and the demands of the course. Thank you for your time.
So I guess I'm here to answer the question, why would you choose biology as a subject? Well, I think there's a couple of different reasons you choose biology as a subject. First of all, obviously, if it's a prerequisite for a course you wish to do. But secondly, there's a couple of fields that you might be interested in working once you get beyond university. So if you've got anything, you want to do anything to do with health and fitness, that is obviously something that lines up very, very well with biology and understanding how the human body works. If you wish to do anything clinical, so if you're interested in, that's humans obviously, as well as animals, so veterinary sciences, or a vet health nurse, or you want to become an audiologist or a doctor or a nurse, or maybe you want to look after someone in aged care. All of that stuff really rests heavily on your understanding of the human body and how all those things work together, of which biology, obviously, that's the underpinning part of it. The other big side to biology that, as a reason for you to want to do it is if you're interested in the environment. So ecology, in particular, we've got a lot of challenges facing our society to do with climate change. I know you hear that a lot, but it's true. If you're interested in marine conservation or studying animals in any shape or form, or plants, all right, so that's another reason. And the last one is to do with plants. So if agriculture is something you're interested in, then obviously we study how plants work as well as much as animals do. So there's a lot of great skills involved in all the sciences, including biology, and biology is very specific to life and the living. In addition to that, obviously we go on field work and we have camps, which might be something you're interested in as well. Okay, thank you very much. Good luck with your search for the right subjects for you.
Hi, why should you do chemistry? As you know, everything around us, what we touch, what we eat, what we drink, it's all chemistry. If it wasn't for chemists, we wouldn't have a lot of these things that we use today. Why do chemistry? Chemistry is a prerequisite for a lot of courses: engineering, pharmacy, pharmacology, forensic science, and any science course you can major in alternative programs like biochemistry and physiology or anything like that. Myself, why did I do chemistry? I ended up working in research, producing medicine to cure the influenza virus and also to help treat cancer. So before I became a teacher, I published quite a few things for my research, which I enjoyed thoroughly. So please do chemistry because it's a really, really good subject for your future, and it opens up a lot of pathways for a lot of different careers.
Well, physics is a fascinating subject. For many, many years it's attracted the attention of some of the most famous scientists in the world, people like Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and you'll end up working on things like nanotechnology, astrophysics, nuclear physics. Could lead to a career in engineering or medical physics, could lead you to many different interesting careers, nanotechnology, all about the very small, and it really is up to you what you branch out into, and it's a very rewarding career, mark my words. Thank you.
Hi guys, so I'm Savannah Freeman, I'm one of our school captains. I just wanted to tell you just a bit about senior subjects. So I do all three sciences, so biology, chemistry and physics, and I do general English, math methods and drama. So with these subjects, the amount of effort you need to put in, it's up there. So you need to keep in mind that these are very hard subjects and you don't have to do them if you don't want to, but if you do them, there's no slacking off. You can't have rest days, you can't have days where you don't do anything. You need to be studying a lot, putting a lot of effort into all the assignments and the exams, and making sure that you understand. And if you don't understand, you need to be asking your teachers for help.
Hey guys, my name is Martin Bombach and I'm one of your school captains for 2020. I do physics, chemistry, biology, math methods, English and art. You have to choose your subjects for year 11 and 12 well and make sure you do the ones that you like or you'll have a hard time passing your subjects. You need to make sure you pass at least 3 subjects all through year 11 and 12 and make sure that you get past all your units and do as good as you possibly can to get all the necessary QC points. The workload from year 10 to 11 is an extremely big jump, and you need to make sure that you stay on top of everything, and if you have questions, ask your teachers. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. The big jump from 11 to 12, there's not as much of a big jump, but you still need to stay focused in class and remain on top of everything, or you risk falling behind in subjects, and that's one thing you don't want to happen.